internal marketing, having that conversation with the patients. What does that drive? Obviously, probably more patient referrals, but what are we talking about here? Break it down for me.
It's the vibe. It's really, and I know it's so hard to put like an actual thing on a vibe, right? But like your patients pick up when they see that you love working there, when they see that your employees love working there. I think it's really important to find out who the core audience is in your practice. And your core audience obviously is your core patients, but let's run a report on the people who have been coming to you the longest.
In-house memberships are really big too. Like I don't have dental insurance. I use an in-house membership and I negotiate all my prices with the dentist. I see more and more people moving in that direction as well, which is
if you're a Delta provider and you're already agreeing to a certain amount of fees, well, Delta's going to go to these patients and say,
welcome back to another episode of the Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the founder of SMC National, where we help you create, convert, and close more new patients so you can grow the way that you want. But if you really want to grow, you need to learn to treat your patients in a way that they want to refer more patients to your office and so that they accept more treatment. Today, Teresa Duncan walks us through the process of how to get patients to do just that. She has some great ideas. She's the president of Odyssey Management, and you're going to want to stay tuned for this one. All right. So, Teresa, I'm excited to have this conversation. We had a great conversation on your podcast recently. And today, I wanted to pick your brain on what you're seeing in the dental industry that's driving the most growth for dental offices.
What I'm finding very exciting is this whole return to let's get to know our patients and let's do some internal marketing. And for a long time, internal marketing was sort of this like, well, yeah, we can do that, but let's spend a lot of money on all this other stuff. So it's really fun for me to see them look on the morning huddle and see, okay, who's coming here for, like, who's driving for a long while to come and get here. We need to acknowledge that. We need to thank them for being patients for more than 5 years. And we know that there's been a lot of changes in the economy and all this stuff. And I'm so glad that you're sticking with us. And we know you have a lot of choices. I don't know when the last time was that any of our listeners said, we know you have a lot of choices for, going to get your healthcare. We're so glad that you stay with us. And it's not a natural thing to say until you say it a lot. And that's the whole thing with internal marketing is you got to get used to being truly grateful and being truly happy to see your patients. And I think, you and I have seen it when PPOs kind of came up, insurance kind of dominated. What was happening is it got really easy to say, okay, the seats are full. We're getting new patients left and right. And so we just kind of thought, oh, all right, well, this is cool. We don't really need to flex that muscle like we used to. And I'm really happy to see that come back.
Yeah. So, okay. So what does that do exactly? Or like, what does that bring to the table, right? So if I'm like, yeah, we do need to get back to that. We haven't talked about that a long time in our office. Internal marketing, having that conversation with the patients. What does that drive? Obviously, probably more patient referrals, but what are we talking about here? Are we talking about, like, you could break it down for me?
It's this whole, like, it's the vibe. It's really, and I know it's so hard to put like an actual thing on a vibe, right? But like your patients pick up when they see that you love working there, when they see that your employees love working there. And when there's this culture, and culture is not really a word that I talk a lot on because that's just not my style, but you really can pick up when an office is happy and people are working together. So what does that bring to the table is it gives your employees a sense of confidence, right? That they're working in a good place. That really does come across. And then the conversations that they have with patients, honestly, they're going to be a lot more confident in all of those conversations. So if you have people who aren't used to having really kind of small talk and even just good conversations with your patients because they're on such a hamster wheel, when you get in there and you're talking to somebody about their treatment needs, that familiarity, that comfort level comes through. And it's a much easier conversation to have with somebody that I've been seeing for a while. Say, you know what, you've been really putting this off. I don't get it. What's going on here? Well, you know this, you need this work done. But I can't get that level of comfort if I'm just saying, hey, bye on their way in.
Hey, I got something crazy to share with you, and I'm going to get you right back to the show, I promise. So we have an event called AlignerCon coming up next year. And this month, we're giving away a buy one, get one free. We're going to be partnering with ClearCorrect. And this is going to be one of the biggest events that we've ever done in Nashville, Tennessee, in the biggest hotel in America. If you want to come to this, again, we're going to give you a buy one, get one free. We want to meet you in person. Just go to alignercon.com and we're going to teach you how to create, convert, close, and even some clinical components around clear aligners. So don't miss this event. Go check it out now. Back to the show.
And out of the office.
So if you're just pushing people through So it doesn't just drive. So let me just nail this down a little bit. So we're talking about driving patient referrals, and we're talking about driving treatment.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it drives both, right? It drives both. And that's huge, right? Because both of those things are like, more patient referrals are great because those are the best kinds of patients you can get. They're the easiest to work with. But then you're also pushing treatment, which is great too, because that's why we're here, right? We need to do treatment and we need people to accept that treatment. And so let's assume now that we have a dental office listening to us. They have 5 practices. They're trying to figure out how to get their numbers up. They just went through September, right? It was horrible. All the numbers dipped. Everything sucked. And so now they're like, okay, what are we going to do in Q4? And they say, you know what? I like what Teresa's saying. Q4 is going to be the quarter where we get back to internal marketing, and I want to get my production up and my patient referrals up. How do I actually do that now in an office? How do I do it with a group of people and get them on board?
So I think it's really important to find out who the core audience is in your practice. And your core audience, obviously, is your core patients. But let's run a report on the people who have been coming to you the longest. I mean, the ones who we think about are just the loud ones that come in. We're always happy to see, and we always joke around. But there's probably a good bunch that come in regularly. They've been coming to see you for 10 years or even more. I mean, I think back to my office. I've seen them be pregnant. Their kids come in. Now their kids are going to college. I hear from the grapevine, the ones that I used to know, now they're having kids. And so it's really, that's what I'm talking about. You have a core group that's been with you a long time. So let's run a campaign. Let's send some, either a postcard or send them. It doesn't have to be anything like super, I don't know. I don't want to get like all emotional or anything, but just send them a postcard just saying, hey, we love you, or even just a card that just says, we're so glad that you're still a patient here. As we go into the new year, we look forward to many more years with you. It's just simple stuff, right? Wow. Just simple stuff.
Yeah. So I talked to one office, and she broke this down. I believe she was the CEO of a group. And she said the number one thing that impacts their patient referrals was they had a little dashboard in Dental Intel. And it had all the patients that doctor saw that day and that they did treatment on. And on the way home, they could just sit there and just tap each one. It has their phone number right there. They tap it, they call it. Most people don't answer the phone because they don't recognize the cell phone number. So it was just a quick voicemail. Hey, Susan, this is Dr. Smith. Just wanted to check in on you, make sure everything went smooth, make sure you're feeling good. Thanks so much for coming in. And they could literally do it on their drive home. Like it was no extra time that they were already spent, because that was a big thing. I was like, how are you getting the doctors to do this? And she said, this drives patient referrals up like crazy. So
I believe it.
So if I hear you right, it's these little touch point opportunities that you can build this with. So then if I'm thinking about how I'd roll this out, right? Let's pretend that I'm a dentist. I'm going to roll this out of my company. Am I looking for 2 or 3 people in my office to execute at certain key times on this? Or is this a total team that I'm trying to get buy-in? Because I'm thinking, how do I do this fast? Getting the whole team bought in might be a little bit hard. But if I can get 2 or 3 people at the key times to do this, that would be huge.
There's certain people that really don't need to be involved in this process. And I say that with love. It's not their forte. I mean, there are certain patients that I never wanted to interact with. And my cohort, Jean, she was always good with those and vice versa. So I don't know if it needs to be a whole team thing because it can be torture. But there's people on your team who are going to love this. They love the giving away. They love giving a gift card. They love sending a card. Let those people be your ambassadors. Not everybody's cut out to be an ambassador or, to be your chief champion is what one office was telling me. And what's really, I thought was really cool was I was talking to an office in North Dakota, and the manager was talking about how that, their patients drive, they're out there and they got the sticks, right? They're out there. They love living out there. So they know they got to drive 2 hours to get to an appointment. So you know what? Why don't you give them a gift card for, McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks, or whatever? Hey, we know you got a long ride home. Here's lunch on us for the ride home, or, lunch or get breakfast on the way into your next appointment. Like little things like that they don't cost anything, hardly, really. So, and the payoff is, I can imagine my dad going, oh yeah, they even give me breakfast to come in. I can imagine something like that coming off of him. So yeah, I think the team buy-in is good, but I think there's probably better people to deploy on it than just everybody.
Got it.
And
okay.
Sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes the doctor isn't the one that needs to do this.
Yep. And then do you Is this something you push for a quarter, a month? You change it up? Like how would you tackle that?
So I like doing this in regular bites. So I think a quarterly meeting just to see how it went and what's next. And, you could be in every office, in every region, there's different things that happen. You might have festivals, you might have tourist season, you might have all sorts of things. And you can tie in these themes, also the holidays, all of that. So I think it's something, but I think it's important that you don't do this every year like clockwork. Like you don't want to be reaching out to the same people all the time. But even on your daily meeting and the daily huddle, just pick one person that you just want to love on. That's so simple. Just pick one person you want to love on. Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs this the most? Who would you guys feel most comfortable doing this with? And then what do we want to do for them? And then just execute on that.
Yeah. Super, super easy. And I think as we see the industry moving more towards, okay, yeah, we want to get out of networks, but we need to be strategic about it. You got to be strategic about how you're going to give patients, I guess, an alternative to being in network. The alternative is like being amazed by you, which isn't something they know they want. That's the hard sell. They don't know they want that. They don't know that they're going to miss you until they go out on the road and find another dentist and then they come back.
Yeah. Do you think the industry is like moving out of network, or do you think there's a group of people that want to move out of network?
I think there's a group of people that have already moved out. Let me be clear. I don't think we're going to be completely out of network at any time. I don't think that's going to happen. I think honestly, it's a nice pipe dream, but I just don't see it happening. But what I do know is that the amount of people going out of network has really hurt. I mean, I'm hearing rumors of Delta finally.
It's hurt the insurance
carriers,
companies?
The carriers, yes, sorry. I'm hearing rumors of Delta considering in certain areas, they're not going to do it in your big metropolitans, but in certain areas, they're going, wait a second, we lost a lot of people. Same with some of the other carriers. So are we, and then that's the pendulum, right? Like there was a pendulum where everybody signed up and then everybody hated it. Now everybody's getting off, right? And then the pendulum's going to go back the other way. So, will we see more negotiations in the future? I think so. I think they're going to be willing to come back to the table.
Well, in-house memberships are really big too. Like I don't have dental insurance. I use an in-house membership and I negotiate all my prices with the dentist. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need this treatment.
Right.
And so I see more and more people moving in that direction as well, which is way better than insurance.
Well, I worry about that because I was just at a meeting and I love membership plans. I know most of them, and I just think they're all for the most part, pretty much a good product. What I was hearing at the latest insurance meeting I was just at is they were talking about how the carriers are uniquely able to offer discount plans, which are basically kind of a membership plan light. So what that means is that if you're a Delta provider and you're already agreeing to a certain amount of fees, well, Delta's going to go to these patients and say, look, why don't you pay me $199 a year? And then you can go to these dentists. You get access to the fee schedule. There's no claims or whatever. So basically, they're just selling access to the fee schedule. And I have talked to several offices down in the El Paso area that they don't have membership plans. They just refer people to the Delta Dental of New Mexico and Texas discount plan because they don't have to administer it and they're already agreeing to Delta fees. That, I think, is going to be something that the membership plans have to look at and pay attention to because that could get big. That could get big.
So are the insurances paying more, though? Are the insurances paying more for those? Because insurance
isn't paying. The patient pays. So basically, the patient just has access to this low Delta Dental fee schedule. The patient goes in, gets treatment, and then they pay the doctor. There's no claims, nothing. They just get access to the fee schedule. So for $199,
but I'm saying for a membership, if I want to create a membership for my office, and this is in the context of like internal marketing, right? So this is definitely a big part of it. So if I want to do a membership plan for my office, I get to set all my prices and then say, okay, this is the discount off of those prices. Would I still get to do that with Delta, or how does that work?
No, I mean, it's either or. You wouldn't want to take a patient that has that Delta discount plan. That you'd want to push them on your plan.
But why would I choose Delta Dental's and not mine if I'm the one setting the price and the discount amount?
So in these offices that I was talking to, they don't want to set up a membership plan. They don't want to administer it. It's easier for them to just send them over to this discount plan and let Delta handle them. And then all they do is just collect money from the patient when they come in. The advantage, I think,
Delta just gets $200 a year, basically?
It's easy money. I mean, really, from a business standpoint, that's simple, brilliant, honestly.
Yeah, they're already...
So here's where I worry, and why I'm really keeping an eye on it is this could really hurt the membership plans if this takes off. And that's what I worry about.
Basically, it's just outsourcing your membership plan. Hey, sorry to interrupt the show, but this is a segment that I think is going to bring a lot of value to you, and it's under in 2 minutes. It's really, really fast. It's called Ask Gary. People have been emailing in their questions to askgary@smcnational.com. And what we do is we just try to quickly answer your questions so you can grow the way that you want. And today's question came from Peter, and he asked, what metrics do I actually want to track when it comes to marketing? Now, in marketing, there's infinite amount of stats. You can track everything and anything now, and there's so many things to track. But from a high level, what you really want to know is this. What is your cost to acquire a new patient walking through your door? How much does that cost you? Is it $100, $200, $300, $500, $1,000? You want to figure that out. And you don't want to know how much it is. You don't want to include your patient referrals into that number. So you should only be looking at the patients that were generated from marketing that are coming into your office. How much did you spend to get those people to come in? Don't count your patient referrals. Don't count your doctor referrals into that. Then from there, you want to look at what is your cost to generate a new patient lead. Those are two different things. A lead is not a patient, and a patient is not a lead. So how much is it for a qualified lead? People who are reaching out to your office that are actually new patients and are qualified, that you could have got them in, they would have been a great patient. How much does it cost you to make that phone ring or to get them to schedule online? Those are the two main numbers that you have to know. If you don't know these numbers and you're doing marketing, you are guessing, and it makes it really hard to actually make decisions of should we do more, should we do less? The other thing to call out is that those two numbers are not just marketing numbers, they also are operational numbers. They help us see how operations is performing as well as how marketing is performing, and then it allows you to get better and work together to improve those numbers. So I hope that helps. Back to the show.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, if you look at it, most membership plan companies are pricing anywhere from $299 to $399 a year. You know, I know it's over monthly, but a lot of dentists, that's about what's come out.
Yeah, that's what I always recommend people to put it at. But a lot of these dentists will put it at like $599, $1,000 a year.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, and that's just, then they're like, why doesn't anybody sign up for it? It's just like, no one wants to prepay for their dental treatment.
Well, and I was just in Texas, and every time I go to lecture in a state, I look up what the average premium is for that year, what the most released number is. And for Texas, it was like $379 a year is what the average patient pays for dental insurance. So if you are pricing it at $599, then why wouldn't they go back to commercial dental? So you got to be smart about your pricing, right? You got to look at it from a business point of view, not just what you wish you could get.
Yeah, that's a good point. Awesome. Well, this has been really, really good. I love talking with you. What's the best way to reach out to you if someone wants to talk more about what you do and how you help offices?
Sure. OdysseyMGMT.com is my website. I've got 2 podcasts they can listen to, and it's linked on there. It's Nobody Told Me That, and then Chew on This. And I have an online insurance course if they want to do more insurance diving. It's Dental Insurance Design and Management. And I believe you have a courtesy code that I provided for you. I believe it's a SMC. They get a $75 courtesy. So I'll make sure. I think it's live. I'm pretty sure it's live. So
awesome.
They are certainly welcome to take advantage of that. And if you need somebody for your study club or if you need a strategy call, all that information's on my website.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Gary. Take care.
Bye-bye.